Hey guys, JCTheSniper with a little bit of a two-purpose video. First thing we're going to do is we're going to review this Uncle Mike's inside the waistband concealment holster, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think is good in an inside the waistband holster, according to me. So, you know, your mileage may vary, but these are my thoughts on the subject. This is an Uncle Mike's inside the waistband holster, size size 16. And I think that's a 3.5 to 4 inch barrel automatics, and it's the appropriate size for my Glock 19, which is why I have it. And you can see there it didn't fit quite right, so I sewed here to tighten it up around the trigger guard to keep the weapon from shifting. And that works quite well. Easy to do, and it hasn't affected much, but it makes it ride much better. This is a pretty decent quality. You can get these for 12 or 15 bucks. So for that price, it's hard to beat. It's not leather, it's just fabric. It's flimsy. Not flimsy, I guess, but soft and flexible. And just a nylon padded inside, and kind of a tackier, or not tacky, but kind of a grippy, velvety outside to help hold this in your waistband. And the sewing is good, and I think the material quality is good. I've been carrying this for a while, and it's held up good. One thing I wish they'd have done is I wish they'd put a metal clip on this, because this plastic clip just doesn't hold very tightly, and because of that, it slides around a lot. It just doesn't hold on very tightly, and also it's constantly tipping like this, because that doesn't hold very tightly, and this doesn't hold it in your pants real great. So a little bit, it moves around a little bit, so it's not my favorite. The other thing that I think is a problem is where this is mounted, and that takes us to my little bit of philosophy on inside the waistband holsters. I think this clip should be mounted as far up as possible, so that as much of the gun as possible is in your pants, is below your waistband. Because when you mount it like this, and you place this here, you then have a belt. Your belt is running, you clip this over your belt. Now, my belt on this is going to be right about here. You see how that barely any of this firearm is inside the belt, at that cant, and with where that clip is positioned. The belt is crossing the firearm like this. So, that's all that's inside your pants, which means the top of this firearm is free to flop around. And it also rides very high, because remember, your pants line is here. So all that is above your pants, which means that's going to be covered by your shirt, which is generally a thinner material, and also you're bending and flexing, and it's gonna move like this as you bend relative to your waistband. So the gun is going to print. And I think that's a problem. Also, it can flop out from your body because of where it's belted, and it can print easier. So I don't like that. So I began looking for something that didn't have the clip like that clipped in further in my pants. And I was looking at some Galco holsters and stuff, and they have some good ones, but they're all 70 bucks, 80 bucks, just expensive. So I figured I'm pretty handy with leather, and I'd make my own. So this is what I turned out. And I sized it appropriately for my Glock 19, and I made it to fit my own body, and I think this is superior to that clip design, because as you can see, I've mounted this up high, and the belt snaps in, so it holds onto the belt pretty well, if I can get it snapped. And it's also, the belt rides much higher on the weapon. Instead of being down here and at more of an angle, it's up here where you can belt the weapon more securely against your body, because the belt now covers a much larger portion of the weapon. The belt is now here, at kind of less of a cant, rather than here like this, or up here like that. So the weapon is snugged in against your body better. Also, as you bend up here, this isn't going to have as much tendency to print against the back of your shirt or the front of your shirt because it's snugged in against your body so much better. So I'm going to say that when looking for an inside the waistband holster, you should look for a holster with the attachment point mounted as high up as possible, so as much of that gun is in your pants as possible. Because your pants are a thicker material, and this isn't going to print like a gun or print like something obviously shouldn't be there. Because nobody has anything above their pants line at their t-shirt that should be poking out. And that's what they see when this gun pokes the back of your t-shirt and there's a square, there's a square bump. People are like, what is that? If this is down low, first of all, your pockets and things like that are going to conceal it. It's also just not going to show that much because against your hip with this kind of profile, this doesn't look like a gun or anything. If you ride that in your back pocket, it'll maybe look like a wallet. If you run it more around the front, it could easily be a phone or something, if they even see that bump at all. Whereas this will definitely show up, and people will definitely see something amiss if they see that bump against your shirt or against the front. Also, when this is higher, your shirt tends to catch on the edges of it and form like a flat surface here around it if you're not careful. And that can be odd looking, whereas if it's down at your pants line, it just doesn't do that, and it's just not as noticeable. So I would look for, if looking for a concealed carry inside the waistband holster, not one like this where the clip is mounted low on the weapon and a lot of it is out, but one where the weapon hides down in your pants. Now there are a couple disadvantages to that. The first being the ability to grip the weapon. Because so much of this weapon sticks out of your pants, you can get a full combat grip on that weapon without the holster interfering and without having to, force your hand down under your waistband to pull that out. So that is an easy draw. However, with this one, which I've made, because of the fact that the clip rides as high on the weapon as I can position it, and still leave a little bit of the weapon out, as you can see there, you can't get as good a combat grip. You can see my third finger is kind of obscured by this, and I probably could have dropped this down further, but it wouldn't have held the weapon in as well, because it would have just, I just wanted to have it as secure as possible. So I can get a 2-finger grip on it and lay that third finger in. So I don't think that's too big of a problem that I can grip it, because I can grip it pretty well, or you can grip below it and just shuffle your grip up a little bit as you pull it out. So either way is sufficient, and I think that's adequately quick for drawing. And of course, you're going to have your waistband here, so you might have a little bit of trouble pushing your fingers in behind the gun because it will be snug against your skin. But I think having the gun and having it well concealed is preferable to having it, but having it popping out all the time. And at most, this is going to make, a half-second difference in your draw, which I don't think kills it. So, your mileage may vary. That's just my opinion. When looking for inside the waistband carry, I say go as low as possible. So, this is JCTheSniper, signing out.